Howdo and welcome to King Bespoke Creations. It's stained glass window day. Look what I've got. Now, you may be shocked to find out that I am not a stained glass window expert. I am, however, someone that can think outside the box. So, I have cut out some clear plastic, some clear acrylic. I was hoping to do all of this by cutting it through with a laser machine. But it turns out laser machines, or diode lasers, just run straight through clear plastic. They don't cut them at all. So if you dab a little bit of paint on the top, maybe leave a sheet of paper on the bottom, it will at least make a mark. If you go too hot, it might come through and melt it a little bit, which is no good. But other than that, we can still see what we're going to use. So I'm going to use the laser as a kind of template printout. Once it's marked off on there, very simple to just go around with the bandsaw, nice and slow and steady, and presto, we end up with two of these. But Chris, I hear you cry, stained glass windows have colours in them. Yes, of course they do. Which is why I have purchased this great big pack of multicoloured translucent acrylics. So once we peel that layer of cardboard off, we get this translucent colour, and we have everything from dark reds, oranges, yellows, lots of different blues, a few purples and a couple of greens. So if we're doing stained glass windows on clouds and fire as two separate entities, we should have every colour covered. Now, I spent a fair amount of time drawing faffy little lines inside Lightburn to create this kind of fire template and cloud template here. I may do a little video on how I did that inside Lightburn later on. Let me know in the comment if you'd like to know about stuff like that. And then copying that into the iPad, I then went through and coloured it in using all the different shades from that pack of acrylics. Now, when going through the settings for the Creality Falcon 2 22 watt laser that I currently have, it gives you the listings, what it should be able to do, and it should be able to cut coloured translucent acrylic material, just not the clear stuff. So what I'm going to do really first off is test that theory. Does it cut out the coloured stuff, or does it just make a mark like they did with the clear stuff? Safety first and all that. Hooray and hurrah! So I went up 5% on power and I just did 4 passes instead of just one, and it's cut through really cleanly. It's not melted the plastic, which means we can start doing a bit of a jigsaw puzzle now. All set, ready to go. Four colours at a time, slowly going. This may take a while. So while that's working away, let's fettle these window frames. So I've been keeping the centre sections in just to help protect these thin sections. So this is the piece that we actually want. Now that's going to be recessed into there, but what I'd really like is on this leading corner here, is to have a little bit of a concave curve, just like we've got all the way around the edge of the guitar, but obviously much smaller and more delicate. Now, we did all of that on the body with the big router. There is no way I'm going anywhere near a power router with this tiny little delicate thing. Chisel as it is then. So I'm going to stick this frame down to a really flat surface to keep it all nice and stable and protected. Just using the old masking tape and super glue trick. Happy days are here again, the carving chisel's here again. I do love these things, and I'm going to use this one. It's got a slight curve on it, so I'm not going to go really deep curve, slight curve, nice and thin, buffing compound on a strip of leather, an old leather belt onto some block of wood. Beautiful, just to keep it nicely honed, realistically polished, all you ever need to do. And that will cut your finger off. You have heard it said that you should always carve downhill. And I tell you the truth, that is exactly what you need to do. And here's a prime example. So here we go. All on here, we can see the way that the grain runs along there like that. When I come in with my chisel to take this edge off, I need to go downhill like that. So I am constantly pushing that fibre onto that fibre, onto that fibre, onto that fibre, and pushing them down, and then nothing bad's going to happen. If I foolishly come at it with the chisel from this way and go uphill, I will grab into every one of those chunks of grain and split it apart from the one underneath. Always figure out which way your grain is pointing. Sometimes it's not as easy as you might think. Have a really good look. Have a test piece if that's necessary as well, just to make sure that that chisel is going to do everything beautifully well and not totally ruin your day. So, taking my slight gouging chisel, it's nice and sharp. I should be able to carefully run down. And I'm just doing tiny bits at a time. Never go in full chunk in one go, because something bad will happen, especially when it's a thin, delicate piece like this. Just working off, taking off the corner to begin with. Go. Is that okay for you? Just a little detail, it'll just catch in the light if nothing else, just to finish off the piece nicely. Just another 3 of those to do then. Let's catch up on what that laser machine's been doing. Well, that seemed to work. And now for a very large jigsaw. Trying to remake that lot. So, like all jigsaws, I've got a couple of pieces that won't fit, and a couple of pieces that might want the edges biting off. Other than that, I think we're golden. Moving them around so that they don't glue themselves to the surface. Oh, I think that has worked so remarkably well. Ooh. Nice, nice, nice. Well, I think that kind of works, doesn't it? Yeah. Nice. So what we have is 2 separate pieces effectively now. So we've got the one section, and now we need to glue it onto the back section just to give it some real good strength. So we need to glue that on, which I'm going to use wafer thin CA glue. That way it should spread really nicely and not give too many icky bits. And thin super glue takes a little while to go off as well. So it gives me plenty of time to make sure that everything's positioned nicely before it sticks and sets and ruins everything. Okay, so with the window made, it's time to glue a frame in. So I've got the front one I'm going to put in first. So I'm just going to set that in, and then I'm actually going to get the glue on from the back. So then we have minimal glue splurge in the wrong place. Okay, so to do this nice and delicately, I'm going to splurge some glue on this excess sheet of acrylic and then brush it on and see if I can get it fairly accurately in the right place then. I'm just going to use some black CA glue. Just notice I haven't cleaned the black off the edges at all, because I actually want it to be. And then I'm going to put a little clamp on there. Really set those in place. And with that window frame solid, I'm now going to put some, again, the thick CA glue around the edge. Hopefully not enough that it splurges out anywhere. And with that, we absolutely definitely have a stained glass window that glows in the dark. Good night.